Hold on. For everybody over on the podcast. Oh, man, I'm just off tonight. Oh, we get to hear it again. Yo. I can't dance, man.
Electrician Live with your host, Paul Abernathy and Jay Grunberg.
All right. Welcome over on the podcast to Electrician Live. Forgot to even start the podcast, so people are probably thinking, well, he was going to no show tonight. Welcome, all of us, all of you, not of us. We're here. All of you over on the podcast. Thanks for tuning in. And again, all of us on the video stream. If you're not doing the video stream, check us out over on youtube.com/Master the NEC. And I can say, Jay, we're the only live electrician directly related show on the internet. I haven't seen any others. You know, people record it and post. We are live. Live.
We are live and we're taking calls.
Lines are open. If I remember to see it. So, you know, lines are open. Somebody asked how long I've been in Texas. I've been in Texas since 2014, but I think I got that off the Weather Channel and mentioned something about Texas cold, below zero, like -2 potentially by Wednesday. Okay. Mandingo says stay off the roads. You can bet your butt I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving the house. In fact, we have a heat pump, and I had to put on the emergency heat or supplemental because they don't work very good when you get down by 30 to 25 degrees. Heat pump's just wasting money. It's not doing anything. It's not able to pull heat out of anything. So I'm having to lower it down and turn it on because typically we don't have that issue. It never gets cold enough in here. So hoping that the RV doesn't freeze up because I didn't blow the airlines out this year because I was like, I don't ever get cold enough for a sustained number of days. Of course, I'm wrong, but let's just hope it doesn't mess it up. We'll see. All right. Jay, Basement King, what's our topic tonight? The topic tonight is
doing side work for your friends.
Friends and Sidework. What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst? I mean, what could happen? You do a little side work for a friend, you know, they call you up, they say, hey, man, can you come and, good friend, come up and do a little work for me? Muhammad. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Hold on, Jay. Hold on. Whoop, 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 whoop. In the house, Muhammad. And I'll butcher your last name, Durrani. Close enough, Durrani. Passed his master's exam. Sweet, that's what I'm talking about. Welcome to the club, special club. Now run over to electricianpride.com and get you some master electrician stickers. Show that pride, bro. Show that pride. Go over there, electricianpride.com. Show the pride.
Yeah, good job, man. Good job.
Absolutely. And I
got stickers, mugs,
show
shirts.
your mug. You got a mug, right?
All kinds of stuff. Yeah, mine mug is behind me, but it is I put it up because I replaced the coffee with water. But I do have the wizard mug.
Vodka. Sure. Yes, he has the wizard. The wizard cup. Do you see the new one? Do you see the Code Cocky? Did you see that mug?
Oh yeah.
Master Electrician, Code Cocky. For those that ask, I actually sent in for the trademark for Code Cocky because that's actually going to be the name of our logo design, where we design logos for companies and as part of our company. And all of the stuff is going to be Code Cocky Productions. So that'd be neat. So anyway, it's not always going to have a rooster, by the way. We're working on one that actually has a alligator in it. Why an alligator? I have no idea. But we're going to come up with all different designs for everything. So if your company wants a design, of course, we're not going to give you much say in it. You just tell me what you want. We're going to make it. Oh, anyway.
What's up, Elwood? What's up, Anthony, Tim, Johnson?
Yeah. Look, Brian's in the house. We got
Code
all
Strong,
of the Code
baby.
Strong alumni in the house. Awesome. That is awesome. So again, what's the worst that could happen? You're doing work. You're an electrician. You're licensed, and your friend calls up and wants you to do a little work for them. Of course, they probably think you'll do it for free. I guess that's one of the worst that could happen. I guess another thing, Jay, we didn't put in here, I guess Friends and Sidework. I mean, we actually could kind of amend that and say friends, family, and side work. What's the worst that could happen? That type of thing. I guess that would be one of the topics in there. What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? Right? You're doing a bunch of work for some friends or whatnot. Anyway, so you have some stories. And again, the lines are open if I remember to see that you call in. I'll try to keep up on that, Jay. If anybody's got the worst that could happen story, and that would be, what's the worst that could happen if you... It says I missed a call already. Gee, many crickets.
Oh, Mohammed's calling in. Try again, Mohammed.
Okay. Try again, Mohammed. I'll see if I can get it, if it connects. Give it another shot and tell us your story. But I have tell us you've had some issues, Jay, that you've had happen with some friends or something.
Yeah, I've had a couple of situations where over the years, friends or families members call you up and they want a little work. It's hard for family members to call me in Colorado because most of my family's in Washington State. But they would even try to fly me out there and do electrical work for them.
Is that why you like Seattle?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Washington State.
That explains it.
I'm the Northwest, man. Go Hawks!
That explains it. That explains it.
So,
you know what? Maybe I had it.
But you know what? The things with friends and family is there's never really a right time to even fit that work in. Because you normally can't do it as a business.
We got a call.
Yeah, we got a caller. Caller.
All right.
Mohammed.
All right. We're going to try to accept this, Mohammed. Jay, you there?
Yep.
Guess it didn't connect. We tried. I have no idea why we can't. Tell your story.
You know, when you have friends and family call you up, there's never a good time for them to call you and for you to pack up your stuff and go over there and do the project for them, especially if you're an electrical contractor, because you don't want to send your guys over there to do the work because then you're paying them extra. So again, you go over there by yourself, maybe on the weekend, or you hire apprentice to go with you just to help you on the side, kick them down some cash or something. But whenever I've had the experience of friends and family, it's always the worst jobs, right? It's always like the stuff that they always say, oh, this is something easy. You know, let's add 8 can lights in my living room with an upstairs and, floor joist. Ceiling's already put together. Let's add 8 can lights and do no drywall damage.
Yeah, let's just... You're the they call you that you're the electrician. You could do this. Here's what I want, but I don't want to have to fix anything. I don't want to have to paint anything. I don't want to have to, you know what I mean? That type.
So then you go in and you do the work, because I've done 8 can lights for a friend of mine, and this was the situation. I go in and I told him before I get there, hey, move the couch. No, he's put tape down over it, or not tape, but he taped it off pretty much with plastic. And I said, hey man, I need you to move that because I have to put a light right above your couch. And so it was cluttered. It was a mess. My helper and I ended up having to move his couch for him and his TV stand. So it took half a day just to move his crap around. Because when we go in, he's out of the house. And so He moves all the crap around. We make our holes. We get the wire in. We put the holes back. The 8 lights are working, but we have maybe 8 additional 6-inch holes to get through the studs, the floor joist.
Right.
Fish our wire through there. Hit every.
He's
light
like, what are these other holes for?
What are these for? You didn't say nothing about that. I said, Darren, we're doing a remodel. It is what it is. It's in my bid. Well, you didn't say anything. Who's paying for the drywall? Who's paying for the paint?
You are, Darren.
Not me, buddy.
I'm here to put the lights in.
$1,200 bill here. So,
I guess what's worse than that, I guess, if you're doing that for family, and again, they do expect it to be done for free.
Yeah.
And, family's one thing, but I have had this situation with me, same situation with a friend, and, it was a lot. I mean, one friend, I finished his entire basement off. This is a big basement. It's probably 1,200 square feet, just the basement. It's a big house. Roughed it all in, got everything in, and, I was, he's a friend, so we don't abridge the topic of cost. We talked about it, blah, blah, blah. When it came to it, at the end, I was like, I probably would have taken anything he offered. Although we had discussions about what it typically would cost to wire this, and I kind of threw numbers out there. So I'm not totally blaming him. But at the end, I'm like, I'm going to get paid for this. And he was like, well, I thought you just wanted to do it to help me out. And I'm like, what? I mean, it was a lot of evenings after work. After working during the day, I didn't want to take my guys away from it. I'd say, I'll help you. I'll come over myself and do it in the evening. And basically, I never got a dime for it. And barely got to pay for the material. And make it even worse, I took another job and moved my family, my company, and everything up to Northern Virginia. And couldn't finish putting the receptacles in and the plates on it. He could finish it because he was handy at doing some of those things. I said, I've got you to this point. And I had left my Milwaukee drill. Yes, Jay, in Milwaukee. I left my Milwaukee with my extender and right angle Milwaukee with my extender and the auger bit on the end. I left it there, almost like brand new Milwaukee. And now I was 3 hours away from him. And I kept telling him every time I tried to reach out to him and say, hey, I need to pick up my drill whenever I'm back in town, he would never answer the calls. And all of a sudden it was like, you didn't finish off the job. So I'm keeping the Milwaukee. And I'm like, dude, I didn't get paid for any of your job. What do you mean you're going to keep my Milwaukee? So one of the few times that I get upset, right? And I was upset, but I wasn't upset enough to drive 3 hours to back and I said, if I'm ever back there, I'll confront the issue. But now it's been years, and I'm sure that Milwaukee's not, who knows what. I don't even know if he still lives in that house after finishing. But moral of the story is, if you're going to do work for friends, and we'll talk about other issues, Sidework, but if you're going to do work for friends and you really do expect to get paid, boy, treat it just like you were doing it for somebody. Go on and set the parameters down up front. Like, I'm gonna get paid, right? Yeah, this is what you're going to pay me. I'm going to give you a good deal, but I need to get paid. All right, we got a call. Hello, caller. This is Paul and Jay.
Hello?
Hello. You're on the phone with Paul and Jay.
Yeah. Hi, Paul. It's Mohammed.
Hey, Mohammed. Again, congratulations.
Thank you. Hi, there. How are you?
Did you hear
Hey,
him,
buddy.
Jay?
How's it going?
There you go.
Good. Just I want to say thank you, and thanks for your program and the show, and thanks for the Sidework program who make me pass the master electrician test. And I'm so happy.
Absolutely. Now, so when you went in there with more confidence, you'd been through the program, you were ready to go tackle that thing, and you nailed it.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. There you go. Power of the fast tracks. There you go. Works. Oh well, man, I'm happy for you. We thank you. Tell you what, send me an email with your address and everything. And we'll drop you some goodies in the mail. Yeah, we'll drop you some swag in the mail. Look, in fact, Jay doesn't even have that. Look at that. Oops, where is he at? There we are.
That is me.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Thank you a lot.
Yep, there you go. You're a supertrician.
Oh, wow.
There you go. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah, send me an email with your information, and I'll get something out to you.
Thank you, Paul.
Yep.
Thanks for everything.
Yep, absolutely, and wish you the best. And even if we can, I can help you with anything or anything we can do. Remember, you're in the Fast Tracks family, so we're always here if you need us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, good deal. All right, brother. Well, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, you take care.
See you, Mohammed.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Always awesome people that have success, right?
Yeah.
That want to take their game to the next level, and they really work hard. And, there's people out there, you've heard it, Jay, we've talked about apprenticesauruses and things like that who say, that little piece of paper doesn't mean anything. It means a lot. It means a lot not only to yourself, to your self-esteem, your desires to work. It means a lot. It means that you worked your butt off and, working in this bad boy right here, which ain't the easiest document in the world. Me and Jay were just discussing 220.60 and how screwed up that is. And at the end of the day, you get that license and you're thinking, yeah, but here's the thing. Muhammad, others out there, the learning never stops. You keep learning. You keep wanting it. And the easiest thing to do is to tackle something that you find difficult. If motors are difficult for you, then immerse yourself in 430. If you don't understand calculations, immerse yourself in calculations and just, those type of things. So, anyway.
Yeah, getting that license, it reflects onto your peers around you as well too. So, me being a owner of my own company, if someone comes to me and they say, "Hey, Jay, I've been doing it for 10 years. I can do everything you need me to, but I don't have a license. I can do everything that a crew lead can do that you're looking for. I don't have a license." I say, "Okay, my apprentices in residential top out at, X amount of money." Well, he can do everything that a licensed guy can. I save, $5-7 and go with this guy, or do I take a guy like Mohammed, myself, my other residential wiremen, those who are licensed out there, who put in that time, who study hard, who's lost sleep at night because it's so dang stressful, knowing he put in the work and he took his exam. No matter how many times you take it, at the end of the day, if you pass it and you come to me and you say, "Hey, Jay, I'm in this situation, but I have my license and I expect a little more pay," I'm going to take the licensed guy. If that's the spot I'm trying to fill, is that leadership role, and that licensed guy comes to me and I have another guy who I could save $5 to $7 an hour. You're talking about $70 on a 10-hour day. It's not right.
Although, Jay, I'd rather hire somebody that's willing to put in the commitment, right? If I was hiring, I don't know that I'd hire somebody that if I ask them and I'm saying, if you got your hours in and you've been an apprentice for 15 years and I'm hiring somebody, I'm probably not going to hire that person. They could be good, but I'm all about commitment and getting to the next level. That's just me. It doesn't make me, some people would say that makes me an a-hole. That's fine. It's just what I want from my company. Unless the position is something really low end, that type of thing, then I'm okay. But it's just me. So, again, I'm a big, and I'm probably going to spend a lot of time pushing that person anyway to get his license anyway. I mean, I'm going to constantly be pushing, saying, "Okay, let's study. Let's go. That type of thing. But, everybody's different. I'm sorry, we got off topic. And that happens a lot with my ADD. I get off topic. And no, I don't take medication for it, if anybody wants to know. All right, so friends and family, what other stories you got?
Yeah, so my story isn't doing side work for a friend. This one actually,
that's right. You've got a hater out there. Go on and tell us a story.
I have a story where I hired at the time. It was my best friend, and it was when we were starting off 6 years ago. We were getting going. I was out in the field, and I needed help. So I called my buddy up, and he's in another state. He drives down, brings his family down, works with me for about a year and a half. And we're doing great. We're kicking butt. But what happened was within that year and a half, he was supposed to get his driver's license because it had been suspended, and he's supposed to pay it off and get a vehicle. Well, he was driving with me every day to work. So I had to go pick him up, and we'd go to work. And
that's a commitment there, isn't it?
It is. Luckily, he was only
commitment.
A couple blocks, but still, I have to drive to work in the morning. I'm grumpy. I look over to my right. This guy, in the morning, I'm not much of a people person. So it's hard for me.
Hold on. Hold on.
You guys know how it is.
Jay's not a people person in the morning.
The viewers will let you know when you're driving into work, it's not always a pleasant thing, the pleasantest thing. And then you look to your right and there's a guy who's, either sleeping on the way and you're like, damn, man, I wish I could be sleeping, And so you do this for a long period of time. And I paid Z-Man really well. And I figured he would get his a vehicle and get going. So after that, I had to let him go.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we ended up picking up a couple years later. We rekindled our friendship, and he was doing the dispensary work as far as like working, not electrical dispensary, but actually his dispensary card and doing that
dispensary.
Here in
Colorado.
You're
in Colorado. You talking dispensary marijuana?
Yeah. So he was actually in there.
I was right. All right. It was just a guess, but when you hear the word dispensary,
totally away from electrical. Yeah, here in Colorado,
there's more money in pot than it is electrical. I'm just saying, not that I'm encouraging anybody to do that. I'm just saying, in Colorado, there's got to be more money in the weed. Just saying.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know what I just know he was back there. His hands was in the mix, I guess, if you want to say that.
The mix. He's mixing up some purple passion, fruity fruit. Whatever you call it. I don't know. They got names for it now, man. It's like purple Wonka unicorn mixy mash. I mean, they got all kinds of names for it. I'm just saying.
Sounds like you by experience.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I've heard that that's what they've got. Don't be labeling. Be trying to
I'm not
label
hating,
me.
Man. I'm not.
You're the one in Colorado. Man. I'm just saying. Okay. So anyway, you rekindled that thing, and he wanted to leave the dispensary job and come back and do electrical work.
Yeah, so I offered him his job back pretty much with a couple people under him, because by this time I had a few apprentices.
I guess pot wasn't as productive for him. Okay, all right.
No, not trimming it or selling it, smoking it he enjoyed, but that's neither here nor there.
Another story. Okay.
So we bring him back, and by this time we have a contract on 4 developments. It's 4 townhomes, and Paul's bubonic tonic. Paul's blueberry bubonic tonic.
Oh my god!
And so we bring Z-Man back, and he's doing great. He's kicking butt, crushing it, and as his experience with us grows, I'm thinking, okay, this guy needs to get his license, right? I'm the only one driving the van. I want to get my buddy a van, and I want him to run jobs, whether they're commercial. He had his hours for commercial, and he had his hours for residential, but he never applied himself for it. So I put a limit on it. He didn't much care for that, and by the time his date was up that I asked him to get his RW, he ended up signing on with another company this time. So he left us. He fired us this time.
Oh, he fired you.
He fired us, so.
Okay.
But, so that was my friendship story. Lost a good friend,
Yeah. Brain's a terrible thing to waste. All right, so we do have some questions in here. Brian says his 16-year-old son is an apprentice should he start with the residential program? Now, Brian, I'm not sure if you mean start with my residential program or just should he start in a residential program in general? I tell you what, an apprentice, not a bad place to start in a residential. Not a bad place at all. I do tell people all the time that when you're starting in the trade, make sure you understand some fundamentals first. It'd be important to understand, fundamentals. And I have no idea why the chat keeps popping in and out again. My software is whatever. It's supposed to be really good software, but it's just not. But I think it's actually the YouTube app that sucks in all these questions or this chat. So again, that was my response to that. Is that residential is not a bad way to go. Just make sure he has a good solid foundation of the basics. Although you can do residential forever, and you probably would never run into any complicated electrical theory situations. Really, I mean, you're nailing up boxes. I'm not going to demean it, because we talk about residential versus commercial. Commercial follows blueprints, but residential, you'd have to think in a sense that you're not following a scripted plan through a set of drawings. You do have to think about how you route things, what the cause and effect will be, what happens if somebody, hey, if I run it right here, is the person putting up crown molding going to run nails right through my stuff? So maybe I should stay away from that. If I notice the ceilings are 8 foot, higher than 8 foot, like 10-foot ceilings, chances are they're going to be fitted with some fancy crown, or trim molds, or you got to think about it. Routing of circuits, things like that. So they have to think. So apprentices, not a bad place to start when it comes to residential. Usually in an apprenticeship program, they'll go through residential, then they'll go through commercial. They'll touch on an industrial motors and everything. And then they'll have a year of code, and tie all that things together. So definitely not a bad place to start in an apprentice residential.
If he does go commercial, I would say, of
course, it's easier to do apprentice at 16 for residential because chances are easier that he can get a summer, the summer jobs working, residential with somebody a lot quicker than he would on a big commercial job. If he's trying to get experience.
And I wouldn't even go to the big commercial jobs at that young of an age. Anyways, I would get if he's going to go commercial side, get with a smaller outfit, maybe 5-6 people where the ratio is 1-to-1. And that way, he's working with the licensed guy every day, all day, who then he can be that sponge. A lot of times with the bigger commercial sites, even though you're electrical apprentice, you're doing more pickup, you're doing parts, which is nice. You learn them, you get to go with the flow. But if you really want him to dig in and learn, put him in a small mom and pop shop. I would recommend for the first year, and then push him out if he doesn't like it there. And
of course he's 16, so a lot of the commercial big stuff, they're not going to take him anyway.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So,
for sure.
But you could easily get a job, working, doing residential, and help as a helper or an apprentice, and learn the ropes of that, because then that's going to, be honest with Jay, even if you're doing residential, you're still going to make switches up the same way, pretty much. Once the wires are in the box, it's not much different. So you are going to learn all those little skills, and you just put that feather in your cap, and then you move on to the next thing. So Brian, I would probably say apprentice residential is a great way to start. Great way to start. It's actually how I started in my career. My first year was residential, and my program was a 2-year program where we went 5 days a week, and I went all day. And that was only, and that was during when I was in my last 2 years of high school, only because in the 9th and 10th grade, I already knew what I was going to do. So I took a lot of summer school classes, and I took early morning classes to free up my days. So I was able to get into a program like that. It was at that time, it was for kids that they're really throwing them away. You know what I'm saying? That's back. Sadly, that's what the old vocationals used to be. He's a troublemaker or whatnot. Let's just use him and dump him in some kind of vocational program, and we'll just forget he exists. That was kind of me. I was always in trouble in school. So but I kind of found what I wanted to do really early and decided to make a plan, and that's how I ended up, and they accepted me into the program, and I got to stay there all day. So that was pretty cool. In my 12th grade year, I actually taught the 11th graders because I formed a relationship with the school and the instructor, and it was just a most beautiful experience that I can remember growing up was my 11th to 12th grade year at my vocational school. Other than that, everything else.
So I'm gonna get caught up with the chats.
We got some
Right
chats.
after Brian mentioned that.
All I see is bubonic, Paul's bubonic tonic. I don't see anything after that. Just Paul's bubonic tonic. Write that down. I'm going to trademark that. Paul's bubonic tonic.
Doug says he pays his guys good money, so I have to charge $90 an hour for service calls in Western Carolina so my men can live a decent life. You know,
that's not bad,
service
though,
calls,
90? We charge $85 here, and I have no overhead, so I'm, an hour. So 90's not, that's not overly a lot. If you think about it, you've got your overhead, and you're paying them, so that's not bad.
And so if we're talking about friends, and let's say his rate is 90, or my rate's 90, I'll take Doug's for example. Maybe for friends you do it at 70, 65. You know, you still have to put a limit on yourself.
Do the friends think, Jay? Do the friends think that? Do the friends think that you have that just because you do it? I mean, you probably have way more friends than I do. I'm older, but you would think that I'd have more friends, but nobody wants to associate with me. So, Jay, do your friends, do they expect you to do something for free, or do you tell them up front, I'll give you a discount? Because look, if I'm working after hours, I'm taking time away from my family. If I'm working during the day, I'm taking time away from my income.
You know what, man? I'll be honest with you. I've kind of got to the point with friends now where where if we can't barter something back and forth,
when they ask you, you just say I'm not available.
I'm not available,
dude. I'm not available. I'm sorry. I'd love to help you. What you tell me? I'd love to help you, but I'm not available, Mom.
Now, if it's Mom, hey, cook me lasagna. Cook me a good plate of lasagna, some salads, some dessert. Just have a feast there. I'll come over and install a ceiling fan for you.
Now, we used to do a lot of things for my mom, before she passed, but my brother did most of the stuff, and he's awesome. So Todd's been on the show before. He's kind of popped in. Todd's a little different than me. Todd. I mean, Todd does a lot of the work for people, and then he really doesn't probably charge what he's worth because he is really good, but he just feels like he would be gouging somebody, and then he knows his overhead. He knows what his overhead is. He knows he's very business savvy, so he knows what he knows. And Todd's helped me and do stuff because I know electrical. I don't know flooring. I don't know, he put in my floors out here. He has a contractor's license as well. He can build anything. So that's a little different. I've gone and helped Todd on, calls here or there, done stuff for him when I was back there. So, that part of the family thing is probably a tit for tat. You take care of me, I take care of you. We both do everything like that. But are you reading chats? Because I'm not getting any chats.
So
chat's not working.
Doug also want to know if we knew any good electrical programs for scheduling and billing. I use QuickBooks for my billing. And as far as scheduling goes, I think you can use QuickBooks. I'm pretty sure there's a feature in there where you can use their schedule. I don't allow my guys onto QuickBooks, so we use an app called T-Sheets. You pay X amount of dollars per individual that you add to it. Yeah.
For those that want to know what I use, if you look on my phone, you see that little lower corner, it says Invoice Temple. Invoice Temple is an app. And it literally probably won't load here. Oh, I got to allow it. And it literally, as you can see, some service calls that were done. It literally can do everything from the app, and it creates an invoice, and I email it right then. They can sign it right here. They can pay for it right here. It keeps track of it, invoices, billing categories. I use it for everything. Estimating, it's all built into it, and it's called Invoice Temple from the Android store, and I like it. It does the same thing, but again, I'm not a big outfit. I'm not like Jay, the volume that you do and the things you do. No, seriously, the basements and the people. It's called Invoice Temple. It's downloaded. It's free app on the store. It's pretty neat for if you're a small shop. It's quick and works. But before that, QuickBooks. I use QuickBooks for most anything like that. And my guys, basically when they would back then when they do it, we were what you call flat rate pricing anyway. So they had the templates in their tablets, and it had where they could type it in and fill it in, and it was flat rate pricing. So we had a flat rate system. I don't know, Doug. It might have the same thing in Apple. I'm not sure. I don't like Apple because it restricts me. I like to route my phones and do everything. Reader. So I'm a Google guy. What? An Android
Square
guy.
Reader. You could use a Square Reader too. My guys out in the field.
Oh yeah, I do that too. Yes.
Readers. Or
a little square.
I'll make note on my service too, because I'll make notes to them in T-sheets that it will say POS, and I'm not referring to my guys. I'm referring to POS, meaning pay
I would
on
hope
site.
not. I would hope not.
That's pay on site. So you got to get the check, or have them slide the card. Other contractor work I do through QuickBooks.
Yeah.
So we have
even that process for the Invoice Temple. It is a process where you don't take money with it. You're still going to get the invoice from Square or whatnot, but the invoice allows me to just send them an invoice. Of course, I'll have an invoice for Square as well, but and they have an invoicing for Square too. And a lot of people use it, but I had to do double work, right? Create the invoice temple, and then I send it as and then I do the Square thing on it. Yep, just like you would do it. And it's a lot more work, but I don't do that much anymore for that stuff. So
looks like we got Dominic watching from Kenya, Africa. He says it's 5:30 there. 5:40 now, probably.
See, my stuff is not updating.
What's up, Dominic? How's it going, man? Hope you're getting up early. Hope your morning's starting off right, and get some Folgers in your cup.
That's right. I got to figure out why this isn't working, Jay.
Gavin says, I'm in the Fast Tracks program, and I'm taking my exam on the 19th. What's your top tips for the exam? So, okay, this is my top tip for an exam. When you go in, know that you have 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever the hour rate is. And when you go into your exam, it's 100 questions. Let's just say, go through it the first time, answer every question that takes less than 10 seconds. So that means you have to know it, or you have to be able to. You can even open your book.
What? He's talking about my 3-wave system that I've been doing for 25 years, and everybody copies my 3-wave system and calls it their own. Okay, I've been doing this all the way back. And so he's going, here's my tip. He's never heard me say it before.
Tip. You act like you invented the.
I invented the 3-phase, the 3 waves, dude. All right, I'm going to cut Jay off. Welcome to Electrician Live with Paul. Jesus. All right.
Okay, that window's
anyway,
gone.
So no, finish your little tip. Okay, go ahead.
No, that's what I
was
say. Say fly through it the first time. Don't even open up your book. And then the second time you go through, find the ones that aren't calculations. I'd stay away from calculations. I'd stay away from questions that are going to take you more than a few minutes. Save those for the end, because every question is the same amount as far as right and wrong. So whether or not you spend 5 minutes in the beginning, or you may even miss that one, to get a couple other ones is worth it. So fly through it, go through it, open your book maybe the second or third time around. By the time you've ended your session, you should have read your exam probably 5 times. You should be on your 5th cycle at the end.
Do you know how much discipline it takes for me to stay quiet while you explain all that?
Okay, well,
I'm just saying, you know how much discipline it takes for me to not.
Gavin, use my 5-step system.
All right. Okay. Gavin, look, here's my tips. Go to my YouTube channel, watch the video on motors, watch the video on single family, watch it on the standard and optional method available online on the channel. Make sure you watch them. Okay. Watch the video on basic calculation math. I have one out there on math. Watch the one on math so you understand all the basic fundamentals. You feel comfortable about it. You feel comfortable. Watch those. If you've already watched those, then another form of what Jay's talking about is the 3-wave method, and that is whereas you go through the questions, and I would open your code book, So, I mean, I'm not that, I'm not that much of a baller. But I would, go through it, and if you have to answer the questions that you just write out, okay? In your system, you should have the ability to check your questions, okay? Depending on, usually they're a PSI or whatever it is, it's internal. Go through and answer what you know. Go with your gut and answer in your first wave. On your second wave, you're going to go through and answer all the ones that you checked. Now, in that first wave, if you spend more than 1 minute on a question, you need to mark it and move on to the next one. Okay? So think of your first wave as your 1 minute wave. Okay? 1 minute wave. You got a minute. Okay? If you know it quicker than that, beautiful. Because you're going to gain a bunch of time that's going to accumulate at the end. Go through and answer what you know. Second wave, go through and answer those that you checked. And remember that you can't spend more than 2 minutes on those questions, or you leave it checked and you go to the next one. Okay? Don't want you to get bogged down. Okay? Now, the only difference is in that 2 minutes, you need to make an educated guess. So even though you're leaving it checked, you're going to pick an answer. Okay? Because what I don't want you to do is get to the end and then realize you left all these things unchecked, and now you've got 5 minutes left, and you look at your thing and you're like, oh, crap. Okay? You should have a pretty good idea. You spent 1 minute on it, and then on the second wave, you're spending an additional 2 minutes on it. That's 3 minutes cumulative. You should have a good idea to eliminate process of elimination. Why do I tell you this? Because usually you're going to have 4 questions. Usually you can throw out one that's obviously wrong. That increases your odds. You went from a 25% chance of getting it right to increasing your odds, okay? 33% chance, right? And if you see 2 of them that are totally obviously wrong, but you just can't get the answer, then you've got 2, and you have a 50-50 chance, okay? So that's what you do on the second wave. Leave it checked if you're not 100% sure, but at least answer it and go to the next one. Once you finish that, the third wave, that's when you're going to have to spend more time. Now, if you have calculations, I would save the calculations till the third round because you're going to be generating enough time by answering the others in the first 2 waves. And during that third wave, that's the wave you're going to actually use to spend the time on a calculation. Okay? But if you're spending so much time on a calculation and you didn't check in the second wave, those ones that you did a process of elimination, reducing down your odds, then what happens is that's where people get at the end, and then they notice that the clock is ticking down and they got 20 questions left. Okay? By that third wave, you should have everything answered except for calcs. That doesn't mean the answers in the second wave are right. It means that you process of eliminated it down to the best probable chance of getting it right. I mean, you either know it or you don't, or if you can't find it, at least you're taking a WAG, okay? Which slang is a wild-ass guess, but you at least are increasing your odds, and that's what it's all about. What I don't want a student to do is get into that last wave and all of a sudden look up at the little clock, and they've got 20 questions left, and they got 5 minutes. Never a good place to be in, okay? The only worst place to be in than that is being at a funeral and we don't like to be there either. So you don't want to be in that position. So use the 3 waves that way. Incorporate what Jay says. I have no idea what he's talking about, but use the waves that I'm saying, and you'll be okay. Just teasing, Jay. I'm not sure what you said, but I wasn't listening really. All right, so I must have muted him because I can't even hear him now.
You did mute me.
I didn't mute you. I have no possible way that I can even mute you.
10 minutes without me.
There's no way. I can't even control. It's a Skype call. I don't even know how to, okay. Anyway, that's my advice. Go watch those videos. And other thing, if you got the time, up on the YouTube channel, when I was doing my public broadcasts of exam prep, a lot of them are still up there under the live tab. Watch them. Because I go over a lot of things that I used to do in public, open on free every Wednesday night, and there's tons of them up there. Okay, some of them are 2 hours long. Okay, go watch them. Great shows, and I cover a lot of topics in that. So again, spend a little time in the YouTube channel. That's probably the best advice that I can give you because again, there's a lot of stuff there. Okay, all right.
Yeah, and those who again say that they're not, test takers. I was never really a big test taker in school. Still, I'm not a big test taker, but if you do the preparation and you put the time in, then that nervousness after that first wave, your emotions will settle in.
So there's a
get in the saddle.
So there's a method to the madness with a fast tracks program, for example. Joe gets seasick on my dude. If you've got a chance to, if you can do all 5 steps in that, then you got a lot of time on your exam.
Thanks, Joe.
Most people don't have that amount of time. Anyway,
that's CMECP Joe right there too.
Whatever.
Thanks for the donation, Joe.
Whatever. Okay. You know what? You got me off. Damn, what I was able to talk about, as I don't even remember now. Thanks, Joe.
And you're so scripted, you just can't wing it. And that's the 5-step system. You're not winging it, but you're kind of winging it. All right. And that's the beauty thing for us non-test takers is there's a little bit of us that we have to wing it. And Mohammed, great job. Joe, great job.
That doesn't surprise me.
And whoever comes
doesn't
up with
surprise
the test.
me. Oh, wait a minute. Here's the chats. Joe
there's
donated.
Mohammed
Thanks, donated. Man. Guys, thank y'all. We appreciate it. Absolutely. Oh, look, Nicholas became a general member over on our channel. Appreciate it.
Nicholas, what is up, man? I haven't talked to him for a while.
Nicholas, there you go. So thanks everybody that donates. We do appreciate it. It helps keep the lights on, even though it is below 0 here soon in Texas, and we're liable to lose lights. I hope not. Anyway, but so that's what I would do. That would be my plan of attack. Some states have a 2-part test, and then you really just focus on your questions. Texas has a 2-part for the masters, but it's still a 1-part for the journeyman. Another thing I should say about it is some people stress so much about calcs that a lot of times they're on an exam that's one exam, and you have one exam, and there's not enough calculations in there to really make or break you passing. So I tell people that it used to be in many states like that, and not all of them are like that, but there were some I'd say, look, you could probably skip the calculations and still pass the exam. Just be sure that you really know your code, right? Just be sure you know your code, and if you do, then you're going to have plenty of time to work on a calculation, definitely. But I say there's the fast tracks. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Methodically moving you through 90 through 100 through 110, moving you through it, and only bringing up the material that's probably worthy for an exam is what we do in the program. But the other big thing is I have people that say, I just want to watch videos. That's not me. That's not what I believe in. Do I do videos? Yes. Do I believe that's the way to learn the code? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay? I believe that you have to read the material and you have to comprehend the material. And the only way you're going to comprehend, and everybody does that at a different level, okay, is by reading material. But you have to take the questions. You have to put in the time.
Yeah, so Eddie here, he took the Texas 2017 test, failed twice. First part was calculations. Second was general questions with calc.
It's
So it
two-part
must have
test
been.
for a master in Texas, two-part. And the reason it's two-part is I helped do that, break it into two parts. One, it tests your knowledge of calcs, and two, it tests your code knowledge. Okay.
Yeah. So Eddie, what happened now? Are you
He's
still scheduled?
still in the program. But as I've told Eddie, there's some of his scores on his competencies and things were low, so he needs to redo those and resubmit those, and really work on those questions and tests. And I should tell you, for students, any exam you use, you want to make sure that you're scoring 85% or higher. If you're scoring in the 70s and the 60s, you're going to have a hard time on the exam. Yeah. It just statistically, sadly, that just is what it is. I have faith in you, Eddie. I'm sure you'll get it. Keep sending me the emails and questions or whatnot, and bring them to our Wednesday night.
How many quizzes do you, or how many tests do you
You're
offer?
not alone too, Eddie, because I know people that have actually failed the Texas test 4 and 5 times. It's just some people. The 2-part test seems to get you. Yeah, and sometimes the questions are written wonky, and you just have to. The problem with the Texas one is all of us that sat in the room with 30 plus years of experience writing these questions or doing these questions. Many people lose sight that it's not about what you know as the master in the room that's been there for 30 years. We're writing questions that should be entry-level masters, because you don't start getting that knowledge as a master until you can work as a master. So sometimes you lose sight, and people that write questions, sometimes they want to write it like they're pounding their chest. They want to write it so that everybody in the room thinks that they're the smartest in the room, right? And so they write this hard question. And it's not fair. And so that's another reason why I don't help Texas anymore, is because there was too many egos in the room. And I'm just, it wasn't about trying to make a tough test. The passing rate on the Texas exam is terrible. The passing rate is about 30% on the Texas exam. So, Eddie, you're not alone. 30%. So,
yeah, it looks like Felix actually, he's taken the Florida one twice. Same thing. He's ran into some hard times. So he picked up the NEC, the American Electrician Handbook, and it helped him out. Yeah, I mean, there's certain books. My recommendation would be to speak with someone who's taken exams before as well, especially someone who's taken the exam in the state that you're taking it in. Right. When I took my journeyman's and I took my master's, I was reaching out to all my buddies. At this time, I was working for a larger commercial outfit, so on site you would have 30 guys at the morning stretch and flex. You're stretching, you're flexing, you're getting going. Man, during that 10 minutes, I was hooting and hollering at everybody who was licensed, and I would ask them, what questions did you guys see? What stumped you? What tricked you? What calculations did you have? And obviously everybody's going to have their own interpretation of the test that they took, but it's always good to ask these people these questions, and it prepares you even that much more when you go into these exams. So talk to people around you. I know when I passed mine, I wanted to tell everybody about the exam too. So I went back to that morning meeting, and for those apprentices who were coming up in the next 3 months, I even wrote down questions for them, right, and answers and stuff, just because, again, I'm not here to stump them or to hold them back. I want to help them, and if you have good peers around you, they'll do the same. So. Oh
yeah, well, the thing about it, it's like with Felix. He's taking in a test in Florida, and some of the states have the ones where you've got to have they add fire alarm to the test, right? Oh. So there's a fire alarm component to it that they have.
Listen, I'm not a fire alarm guy. I'm not going to say
but it's on the exam.
What they call us, but I'm not a fire alarm. I've never been one. I don't know. That's hard.
Yeah, I mean,
that's hard.
Lucky for me, in Virginia there was nothing about fire alarm. Texas is nothing, and Texas is about the fire alarm. I happen to have a background in NFPA 72, so I have a knowledge of the fire alarm. Yeah, Eddie, don't give up, brother. You don't have to know all the questions. Trust me, many people that go in don't know all the questions. You just have to get really proficient at looking them up. And hopefully you've watched my video on how to identify the root of a question. If not, watch it over and over. The index is not going to be the Holy Grail. So a lot of times people say, I'm going to go to the index and I want to use the index. It's not the Holy Grail. Definitely is not. Now, Eddie, I don't know if you watched all my motor videos, but there's motor videos that I have that are on the YouTube channel as well. So there's a lot of content in the electrical calculations folder. The Tom Henry's might have worked, Nicholas, but many states won't let you use the keyword index. Your state might, but other states won't let you bring that in there. Well, that's all right, Eddie, because most people don't. Eddie, Eddie, you have to. Eddie's falls into this thing. Eddie, I did this podcast. You remember that podcast I did, Jay, on the 5 depressions of taking an exam? It's 5 stages of depressions that you can go through. And one of those stages is you start out really, really thinking, I'm good, I'm ready. And then all of a sudden your scores are lower, you get it low, and then all of a sudden you go into this sense of depression where you're like, crap, I must not know nothing. No, you do. It's just the way some people do exams well and some people don't. Some people really test well. Some people can go in there and hardly study at all. I was one of those when I did tests in school. Some of my friends around me studied their butt off. I didn't have to study. I'd just go in, after I was drunk the night before, I'd go in the next day in school. Yeah, in high school. And I would go in and just, that's, and pass the tests. Also did side work for my teachers, so it probably didn't hurt either. Boy, I remember that one teacher in history. Man, I was borderline whether or not I had to take a final exam, but after I put that ceiling fan in his bedroom, it's miraculously I didn't have to take the final exam. I don't know what happened there. Just saying. Guess it worked out. Well, keep working it, Eddie. Make sure, Eddie, what I have noticed is you haven't been doing the competency reviews in the fast tracks. You need to get back in them and do them again. Got to do them. They're in there. The information is in each unit. You heard Mohammed say earlier, the information is there. You're going to have to work them. Work each one. I'm still grading, so submit them. I will grade them, and I will give you feedback, okay? Now, if you don't get above 60, then I'm not going to give you the answers. When you get above 60, then I'll give you the answers so you can see kind of what you do, that type of thing. That type of thing. But don't give up. Never give up. They want you to give up. You don't want to give up. Not at all. What is this?
Mike wants to know, Mike Sparky, does Texas allow self-made code tabs? I don't know. I wouldn't know that.
Self-made, they'll let you, they have to be permanent. So the definition of what self-made is very loose because they can't tell you whether or not you bought one or not. But they're not going to let you do the ones that you can peel on and off. They have to be permanent. Okay, so there's some permanent tabs out there. Like the tabs that we do for our P-tabs, those are permanent tabs. But they're blank and we print them. Right? So it's just one of those things. So
yeah, Joe mentions that we're learning every day. So again, once you take that exam, whether it's Felix or Eddie or Doug, whoever's taking those exams, once you pass that exam, it's a big weight off your shoulder. But it doesn't stop there. You may take a break from studying.
Oh yeah, you're going to want to take a break. You're going to want to take a break after being so mentally exhausted with it. You're going to be like, you know what I mean?
Oh, you're out, man. You're sleeping like a baby. But then when you come back,
and I sure wish I did have P-tabs on this book because this one, I can't even see those tabs. The only ones that I can see are the two white ones on there. Those white ones, those are P-tabs. Yeah. Those are P-tabs. Okay? Those are our P-tabs. Can't even find them now if you go to the website. People are like, where are they at? Where are they at? You got to look for them. We redid the website the way you navigate it. Anyway, we totally got off topic tonight, but that's okay. That's okay. We talked about Friends and Sidework.
Like, yeah, and again, my biggest tip for that, if you're going to do side work for friends, just give them a discount if you want. I'm not saying charge them like everybody else. Give them a friend discount, but let them know up front what it's going to be. And hey, if you want to provide the material, you want to roll with me to Home Depot, you want to lug around that shopping cart down those lanes, I'll pull all the stuff that we need for you to get your job done, and you can take your butt up to the counter and pay for all the material. You want a little bit of break from me? Pay for all the material, and now you're just going to pay a labor cost. You know, so,
and I'll just charge you by the hour. I'll tell you what, maybe if they're going to cook food, like, maybe they're going to cook barbecue. Maybe they're going to feed you. So maybe you'll say, dude, I'll spend a couple hours with you a week and take your time. If you're in a big hurry, I can, $25. Pay me $25 an hour and feed me, or $20 an hour and feed me. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You know what you're okay with. But again, I just steer away from doing stuff for free, even for friends. Charge something. That way you don't get taken advantage of. Now, unless you're bartering, tit for tatting, something like that. Hey, I'll do this if you'll put new brakes on my truck, because I'm not going to tackle that. I'm not a mechanic. So, you know what I'm saying? Those type of things.
I actually had my crew wire up one of my general contractor's house. He bought a new house in a different location, and my guys came in and they wired it up. They did multiple levels of work. They upgraded the service. They gave him a 100 amp subby, bruh.
Couldn't wait to get that in. Yep.
He provided all the material. I just have the hourly rate, and I have how many hours? I think it was 96 hours total or something. Well, I'm bartering that with him because he's a general contractor. That addition on my house, he's going to pull the permit for me. He's going to schedule all the workers for me. I'll pay the workers, but he's going to do all the scheduling. He's going to do all the drawings, the submitting for the architectural plans, the permits. So again, I use my guys as labor as a barter with this guy because I can afford that. And in this case, I think it's going to come out great because our addition probably breaks ground in March, and it should be done hopefully by the end of April.
So you got a barter thing going on with that? Yeah,
I do. I supported the labor, and it wasn't myself; it was my guys. So I'm paying my guys. I have a certain amount of hours that they worked for him. He put in all the material, but he's coming and he's going to contract the addition that we're doing and do all the, the paperwork and the legwork with the city and everything like that. And if it comes out to be a wash, which it probably will be, that's a win-win for both of us. So,
yep, there you go. Somebody asking about the code stickers. We have the free stickers. You know how you can get these. You want these stickers. And again, I will remind you, these aren't the best stickers. They're decent, but they're not like high def ones, the really high quality ones. Those are over on our electricianpride.com website, and they're bigger. These are just small 3-inch ones. And we have 3 new ones. One here, which is the less quality looking. I wasn't really impressed with it, but it's not that bad. That's that sticker. I think I sent them the wrong graphic, to be honest with you. I think it's a Paul mistake. Then we got the Supertrician. Okay. That's me, not Jay. And then we've got Code Strong. And this is the one I check off my list because this is the one that I promised Jay I would make, and I did make it. There, Jay. If you want copies of these, just send me an email. In the subject line, say, Paul, I want my stickers. And then give me your address in the body of the email, and I will see they get out. I will see that these get out to you while supplies last. While supplies last. We will cover the postage because people donate during these streams, and that's what covers postage. Again, all the donations. Thank you that donated. Hold on, let me give you all a clap. Thank you all that donate during these streams. that helps cover shipping for your fellow electricians and apprentices and on that. So send me your email address. Send it to mine. If you want to know what my email is, it's info, I-N-F-O, at masterthenec.com. And I probably should put that in here for you. Info at masterthenec.com. I'll put that in there. You notice I'm doing a chat tonight because I did open up my chat feature. So if you want them, let me know. I will get them out to you. Ed said, did I pose for that one? You mean the muscle one? I wish. If I had to do one, it would have to be like Buddha. I'm gonna do one with a Buddha in the middle of it, and that would be more of a self-portrait for me. All right. So anyway, those are the stickers, and we've always got new ones in design. Code Cocky. Look for Code Cocky stuff. It's going to be coming out. Always check our electricianpride.com. And you'll see we post all the stickers up there, but those are the nice stickers. Those are the ones that are cut out and really nice. These are the ones we get for giveaways, and they're not bad. Okay, and I still have some Master Electrician and Journeyman Electrician and Skull Mafia and Electrical Wizard. So if you want those, mention it in your comments when you send it. I'll send you. But right now we're talking about these new ones. So while supplies last on these. Okay. Freebies. Whoop, whoop.
Hey.
Gotta love freebies. We were going to do it for $2 on the website, but again, since you folks donate during these streams, it really allows me to be able to give those things away. So I appreciate it. Definitely.
So what are we doing? What do we got going on next?
Oh, yeah. So let's get to, so we can get, everybody's kind of good. Code Strong. Yes, Tim. Send me an email. Send me an email if you're okay with the 3-inch ones. Send me an email with your in the subject line. Paul, get what did I say, Jay? Paul, send me my stickers, and in the body of it, give me your name and address. Don't assume that I have it, even though you remember the fast tracks or whatever. Don't assume I have it. Send me your address and everything, because then I forward that off to Brittany and Darlene, and they take care of that for me. And sometimes when I ship things, sometimes we send people double stuff because I send stuff and then they send it. So now I don't. I send it to them. I didn't send you any doubles, did I?
I want double stuff.
Double
stuff. Oreos.
Nebulizer. Boop.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. Okay, would you say next week's show? So next week's show is going to be Q&A with Paul and Jay. So if you've got any topics that you want to answer, any code questions that you want answered on the show live, we'll call your name out. We'll attribute it to you and send it to, what's our email, Jay? I'll type it in here. Our email is host@electricianlive.com. There you go. Of course, you can send it. You can send it regular if you want me.
Try to keep them, kind of basic. Again, we don't know your site conditions. We don't know what's going on out there. We're probably not going to put, a mental picture of how to rewire your whole job site. But if you got questions, ask them. And
I don't think also it could be business related. It could be, advertising, marketing. It could be blueprint question, concept, whatever you got. Go on and send it to us because we obviously be generating our own different questions to talk about. And I'm basically what it's going to probably be is Jay will just fire questions at me that he might have that he wants to ask, and we want to incorporate it into any that you want to ask as well. So again, this show every Saturday night is all about giving back to the industry and having something that electricians can tune into. I mean, that's what it's all about. So I will have the website updated. I promise. I will have it updated here shortly. After that, the week after next, it's residential garages, all the facts. And then it's insulating bushings when required, and then of course we'll have working space wisdom, all about working spaces. Okay. How about surge protectors for services? How about in the 2020 NEC they are required? So you gotta have them now, and it's
220
it's not an option. Okay. Not an option.
Even on replacements.
Yeah. Yep. It's not an option for you to have it now. It's going to be a requirement for those that have the code. They're dealing in the 2020 NEC. I remember us debating it and talking about it, and they do make sense. But for those, it's Article 242. What am I saying? I'm dyslexic. 242, which is over voltage protection in the 2020 edition. And it does have requirements that you have to do it if you're going to do a renovation, service upgrade, or whatnot. You also have emergency disconnect. Okay. So some surge protected devices are resettable. Some of them will take a surge and then reset. That's the whole concept of a surge protecting device. Not all of them are one and done. Some of them will take a certain level of joules, it will take it, and it will reset itself. Some will not. If it's taking a major blow, then it will not. Now, you're required to use a certain types for these services. They have to be, if you go look at it under 242.14, and you start looking at the installation, you're going to see that it's got to be a type 1 or type 2, and that's what you're going to use. So that's where it talks about that. And then, of course, in the code, the other location is, where's it at, Jay? Is that 230.91?
230.67.
Is it 67?
Yeah, it's 230.67 surge protection, and you have an A, B, C, and D.
Yep. So to learn about them, to understand them, go to 242, because that's where it used to be in 280 and 285. Now that's where they are now as a SPD. That's where they are. Our rules that changed for 2020 is in 230, the same place. It's kind of the same concept as emergency disconnects are required now as well. So I actually got a call about that the other day. Electrician called me and says, Paul, I'm doing a change here in Texas. Am I required to add the emergency disconnect? And my answer to him was yes, if the state of Texas is already on the 2020. And think about the surge protected device in 230.67. And that tells you that it's going to be a type 1 or type 2, like we said earlier. The difference in the one is type 1 is usually on the line side, type 2 is on the load side. And it can be in the panel, or it can be immediately adjacent.
You talking about line side of the main
yes.
breaker?
Yeah. That's typically where a type 1 would be installed. Not always, because the listing says a type 1 can be on the line or the load, but typically when we see SPDs type 1s, they typically are installed somewhere on the line side.
And Eddie says the last service was the Federal Pacific panel with no main or disconnect. Again, this isn't something that if you're going to go do a kitchen remodel at a house that has a Federal Pacific panel, you're not required to put a surge protector in that service. This is for new installation and replacements.
Yeah, so if I go and I replace that Federal Pacific, then I'm going to add a surge protective device. And you have many options because you're going to go with a modern panel, with a modern panel board. So you're probably going to go with something like a Square D or an Eaton. And they've got both plug-on SPDs.
Yes.
They've got the kind that mount side beside it. So you have other options. You definitely have other options. I'm a big believer in the SPDs. And I hate to stump for manufacturers, but if you think about what can happen in all the electronics that we have today, if I think about everything that's in my studio, and I have one, and I have one here at the point of my computer. Because if you think about it, if it's a direct surge, then you think of SPDs as like reservoir. The reservoir in a dam. And everything downstream of the dam is your house. You got a nice little pretty house downstream, right? So the reservoir is designed with the dam in order to try to keep everything at that point. Okay, but there is a point where an SPD might be where you take a direct strike where it could get over it and then start to flow downstream, and that's what your local protection. That's like having a barrier around your house, like sandbags. You with me? And that's at extra level. So I'm a big believer in having it at service and also having it at your expensive appliance, because again, it's not going to be the cheapest thing that it burns up. It's going to be the most expensive thing in your house that it burns up. Right? So
yeah. Elwood says we are on the 17 in Cali, but we'll start probably 2020 now. See, and Elwood, the thing is these with these inspectors, especially when you have a new code cycle coming up, they want to enforce certain things right away. I have certain jurisdictions here. That they're still on the 2014. We go in and as a company, whether or not you're on the 2014, 2017, or the 2020, we as a company are going to install per the 2020. That's just a rule of thumb for us. Just because, again, I don't want to go back to the 2014 and go, oh, well, let me take out my 2014 code book. Maybe I could save a couple bucks by not GFCI protecting the receptacles in the basement. No, forget that. We're going to go ahead and we're going to hit that bar, that standard. So again, for you, Elwood, your company probably still installs per 17. Just be prepared to make that jump. And the fast tracks and the residential programs are good for that, the 2021s.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Ed, yours is going to be a little tougher because you're still studying the 2017, even though Texas has moved to the 2020. So, as I told you, you just got to stay the course and understand that you're going to run into some things that are going to be 2020 on an exam, and you just got to be aware of that. You know, other than that, you'd have to switch to the 2020. So, but I don't think there would be enough that will make or break anything for you in that. You just have to put it. I think that your big thing is you're going to have to go back and do all of the competency reviews and really work on those scores. Really work on those scores and be diligent. Spend some time in there. Do those questions at the end. Make sure you do the practice ones and the finals. And if you don't get 85% or higher, do it again. Okay? Don't stop. Do it again. And don't take a break. Don't go week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Hit it now. Hit it hard. You know, you got to be in it to win it. Okay. Philosophy of education for electrical exam preparation is to have a plan, stick to it, and just hit it. Texas is not an easy exam. Absolutely not.
Yeah. It was crazy. I was on a job walk. Was it Thursday? I think I was on job walk Thursday. We were inside this residential area in the kitchen, and they had on her kitchen in the corner, she had an appliance garage.
We were talking about appliance garage.
Yeah, and then I seen that, and I asked her.
Who was it? Joe? Was it Joe that says those are terrible? He doesn't. He's the anti appliance garage guy on the show.
Well, I asked the lady, I said, are you planning on installing another one of those? She goes, no. She goes, it's nice to be able to pick it up and roll up the front part and shove all my crap in it
about.
and close it.
If you look, I'm going to take a picture of my countertop, and I need an appliance garage just so I can stuff it full of the crap that's on my counter. And my wife would say, because you would stick more crap on the counter. I'm sure that's exactly what she would say. You're just stuffing it in every little nook and cranny I could put it. But in the day, man, you have these corners, man. These appliance garages were awesome. You know, you could just stick your blender in there, everything. You don't have to go under the counter. You just make it up, pull the blender out, make you some margaritas, you know, daiquiris, what you got to make, and put whatever. I like it. I want one. I want an appliance garage on my counter.
It sounds like an additional junk drawer.
Yeah, that's what it would become. For some people. Yeah, that's what it would become. Additional. Yeah, that's what it would be.
You got a receptacle in there and never gets used.
Yeah. What are you going to use the appliance inside of the appliance garage? No. You'll put a toaster in there, burn your house down. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, all right. Well, good show. Talked about a lot of things tonight. I didn't see any additional callers, so I guess Eddie said what it is. It's actually basically it's just a cabinet with a
A little.
I'm drawing a blank. Hold on here. Let me see if I can find one.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks for coming. Good seeing you.
Hold on. I'm gonna find an appliance garage on a countertop and show everybody because.
Joe, we missed you this Wednesday at the.
All right, you ready?
Fast Tracks.
Okay. I'm gonna see if this works.
Meeting, but.
All right, there's me and Jay. So he can't see it, but here's what we've got. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's what we got. This is an appliance garage. There you go, Eddie. It's basically built into the counter. It's got a little accordion on it. You can actually put your toaster in there, put everything in there, shut it away, and nobody has to see your appliances. There you go. That's what it is. It's called an appliance garage, and when you're measuring for your countertops, the measurement starts from this solid wall right here, and then the other way measures from this wall. You actually can't see. Starts from this wall this way, and then you measure from this way, and the receptacles that might be in here can't meet the countertop requirement. So it's basically a place to store your junk. I mean, that's basically it. Basically, it's a place to store your stuff, right?
You know, it'd be a good topic too.
Appliance garages.
No.
We'll call Joe and let him tell us. Maybe he'll call in and tell us how he really feels about them.
That's right.
I actually thought that one that I showed y'all on the screen. I thought that was pretty sharp. I want one. Now it doesn't require, you don't have to put anything in there, Eddie. It's like dead space. It breaks the countertop space when the wall measurement, it's a dead space. Could put a receptacle in there. Well, you can always have additional ones that just can't meet the countertop requirement. What's a good show? You said we had a good show. I write it down.
Well, we were talking about areas that would be considered wall space or breaking. You've touched on this in a podcast, but whether or not a column is considered a wall,
mm-hmm.
like a built around box column around maybe a
mm-hmm.
post, maybe
mm-hmm.
a metal post.
Mm-hmm.
That's always an interesting one because you and I have discussed this before that. You're in a basement, you have a metal post and the customer wants to box around it and maybe they want to box, a foot by a foot by a foot. So, 4 square feet, it's a foot on each side. And some people will say, hey, if I take a tape measure on one corner and I go all the way around this column, this new built frame column, is that wall space? Because the code is any wall 2 feet or larger, you need to have a receptacle.
The key is the wall, right?
That might be a good one because you'd be surprised how many people think that is a wall.
To me, it's a column. To me, it's a column that's encased. It's not a wall, but it's just me.
Be a good one to hit on wall space.
No, it's a wall. If you frame it up out of 2x4s from the floor to the ceiling, and you frame it up with a footer and a top plate and a bottom plate, and you're putting 2x4s and you're doing it around, some people will argue it's a wall. Some people will say, I will say, if it's dividing rooms, then some people argue it's a wall. Some people argue that it's a divider. We'll leave you hanging, and we'll say that'd be a great topic because then I'll give you my real opinion of it. On another episode. Yeah, maybe I'll write that down. That'll be another one we add to it, talking about wall spaces. And while we're at it, then we might as well talk about breaks in wall spaces and what constitutes a measurement and sliding door on a sliding glass door. That the fixed portion is a wall. You treat it as a wall. The sliding portion is the portion you don't. Pretty basic, but again, it's worthy of covering in a topic. So we'll cover it.
And if you don't count that fixed part of that slider, if you don't count that, that throws your whole 6 foot 12-foot measurement off. I mean, you could be opening walls after paint's up. Because again, sometimes I've had it, and I'll touch on it on the episode, but I've had it where inspectors come in and they don't always catch the 6-foot, 12-foot rule on the rough. You know, they're looking at staples, they're looking at supports, straps, they're looking at your wiring, they're looking at your grounds inside your boxes to make sure they're made.
Well, it's
made
hard
up properly.
because a lot of times there's no sinks in, there's nothing for them to get a reference to. So we like to yell at them and say, "Dude, why didn't you pick that up on the rough?"
Yeah,
but
exactly.
The reality is, they didn't know where the bed. They were just looking to make sure the basic layout, and they're going to follow the normal. They know where the door opening is, right? They can measure from the door, right? They can measure 6 feet and then another 12 feet, and know that no point along the wall line is more than 6 feet from a receptacle. They get it, but rooms are easy. Countertops with sinks and things like that,
yeah,
not so easy.
That is true. That'd be a good episode. So
Yep.
Cool.
Well, that sounds like a good episode. And there's one question in the Fast Tracks program that talks about receptacles for countertops, and I would say 85% of the people get it wrong. And they don't understand that they'll put 24 down or 2 feet down, and the answer is 4 feet. Because you can't be more than, 2 feet from any receptacle, right? So from receptacle, you would go 4 feet so that no point along the wall line is more than 2 feet from a receptacle. But the way the question is written, and it's written kind of clever, everybody seems to put 2 feet down. They don't stop and read the question, that type of thing. It's exactly what's going to happen on an exam, right? It's exactly what's going to happen is not reading it and getting it wrong on the exam, right? So, common thing to happen. Very common thing to happen. All right. Well, Jay, I don't know anything else to add tonight. Well, we got obviously some good topics from future shows, right?
I appreciate everybody commenting tonight, man. We sure had a good, busy chat, which is always good. It's a good show when you have a busy chat. So we didn't get as many call-ins as we would like.
Oh, was I looking? I'm sorry.
Next week is the Q&A, so make sure you bring your questions. And if you don't want to call in, you can put them in the chat.
Or you can email us. Like we said, you can email it at host, HOST, @electricianlive.com. Send us those, and we will answer them during the session. How about that?
Eddie, I am not in Texas. I'm in Colorado.
He's in Colorado.
I'm in Colorado, bruh.
Yeah, he's the basement king. There you go.
Mohammed, great job, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations again.
Congratulations, Elwood.
Yep.
Have a good week.
Yep. All right, guys. Everybody, thanks for another great episode at Electrician Live. Appreciate everybody joining us. And again, next week's topic's going to be Q&A with Paul and Jay. So bring your questions or email us. It's kind of gives us a little bit of time to put together some good answers and look at it and kind of have it's kind of the best way to do it. So, but we're going to have some questions, and Jay is going to have a bunch he'll fire at me, and we will I'll answer those questions. So we will see you next week.
Yeah. And if you're part of the Fast Tracks, we'll see you on Wednesday.
Absolutely. If you're in the Fast Tracks program, we'll see you Wednesday night. What am I doing Wednesday night? I said I was going to do the optional method, and I think we might do the optional method, and then I decided we're going to some Q&A. And when I say Q&A, it means I'm going to provide the questions. You have to provide the answers. So bring your code books. Okay? Bring your code books. We're going to be digging into some difficult questions, and we're going to test you to see that you're getting these questions and dissecting them. We did this a lot when we did the public ones, and people loved it. Okay? So that's what we're going to go. We're going to test you with some questions, but we're going to do optional method first and get that out of the way, and then we're going to go into some questions and answering, and I will help you dissect it and understand it, and we're just going to hammer it out. How about that? All right? Sound like a winner?
Sounds good to me.
And Eddie, the Wednesday night thing is, as we do every Wednesday night, you'll get an email from us in the Fast Tracks. I will send out an email. It's going to come from info@electricalcodeacademy.com. So make sure you check your spam folders. I have been people in the Fast Track say, Paul, you didn't email me my stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I did. But it's probably caught up in the spam folder. So check the spam folder. Usually it comes out on Mondays or even Tuesdays. Sometimes I get late, and it might even come out Wednesday morning. If you miss it, okay, I should say this, Jay. If you miss it, you need to go over to the Sparky Hub, thesparkyhub.com, and over there you can join up in the Fast Tracks program if you're a Fast Track student. Or you can also, if you're a general or VIP member, over on our YouTube channel, I post it there as well. Okay, so again, if you're not a member, Jay, they need to go to the Sparky Hub. That's thesparkyhub.com. And by mobile phone, sign up for the app, download the app, or you can go to a browser, whatever. We have to admit you, okay, have to approve you, and that can take a little time sometimes. It's not automatic, but we will do it. Brittany will, or whoever is on the app monitoring the app, and we will get it to you. And then we can get you in there, and that's where we post it as well. So bunch of different ways, but usually it's going to be emailed to you, okay, if you're in the Fast Tracks program. 2017 or 2020, doesn't matter. We send it out to both. And you can bring your questions there as well, okay? Try to answer those as well. All right? All right, Jay, that's it from everybody. Thank y'all and appreciate all of you. And spread the word, man. Let other people know about the Electrician Live, man. Let them know, okay? We don't want to just talk to we want the masses. Care about the masses. All right, everybody. Take care. For Grundberg and Abernathy, we're out.
You're listening to Electrician Live with your host, Paul Abernathy and Jay Grunberg.